What up, guys? This is Scott Morrison for SegaAddicts.com. Excuse me, we're here with Ken Balough. He's working with Sonic 4. What's your official title?
The Sonic the Hedgehog 4 brand manager.
So he knows what's up. I just played it, actually. Episode is really cool. It feels like it's a lot more responsive than the first one was. Like, there were a lot of complaints about how the game was a little sluggish, Episode 1, how Sonic literally kind of ran too slow. And you guys said you did a whole new physics engine about that and everything. Is there anything you want to say about that, how much it has improved?
Sure. I mean, obviously, the first thing you're going to notice off the bat is momentum-driven physics.
Yeah.
So, you know, at the very beginning of, for example, Sylvania Castle Act 2, if you just tuck and roll Sonic, he'll naturally roll down the hill and actually pick up speed when he's going down. You'll notice that when you jump, for example, in Episode 1, if you jumped and you stopped inputting on the analog stick to the right or left, whatever direction you were going, he'd hit the arch of the jump and then fall like a rock.
Right.
With this one, as long as you have momentum coming into it, jump, let the controller go, and he'll complete the arc of the jump naturally. Yeah. He no longer uncurls when he rolls up the hills. He stays in attack form. So all of those momentum-style physics we're starting to bring right back into Sonic 4.
Awesome.
It's never going to be apples to apples with the Genesis physics,
right,
because that's just not the way it works.
Right.
But it is much closer to that. And in addition to that, we revamped the physics, the graphical engine. So now instead of using pre-rendered 2D assets, we're actually using real-time 3D assets, which makes the world much more alive and lush.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's also levels of polish that you may or may not notice at the beginning. So for example, the world feels more alive. Like in Sylvania Castle, you'll see butterflies in the air. When you go in the water, not only will you see fish swimming by, but different varieties of fish. You'll see the light rays go through the ruins, depending on where you are, dynamic lighting effects, particle effects, all these levels of polish that, quite frankly, are possible thanks to the success of Episode 1.
Awesome. And I also noticed that aside from the kind of spinning team attack that Sonic and Tails have, Tails can actually swim you through the water.
Yes.
Are there any other things besides that Tails is going to help out with, or is it mainly flying and just helping Sonic out like that? Or
so there's actually a couple cool things. With Tails, if you remember back to Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Tails was really limited to just picking up Sonic and taking him to a new altitude.
Yeah, he could kind of swim you through the water.
But now we decided, you know what, we're going to have a super combination attack. So that combination attack not only will allow you to traverse areas that you can't get through otherwise, but it's also a more powerful attack, not only when you're fighting badniks, but the boss battles. It's one of those things that we wanted to make sure we added a lot more weight to the character of Tails.
Right.
Swimming, as you mentioned earlier, he has much more fluidity underwater.
Yeah.
But to that effect, we also added badniks that take advantage of that. So we have a character called Steel Lion, who's a combination of obviously steel and a sea lion.
Right, yeah.
And he will freeze some of the water underneath the ocean. So you have to use that level of cooperation to sort of get through safely.
Okay.
So definitely adding a lot more weight to Tails.
Yeah.
And he's just, when you play cooperatively, he'll feel like more involved than he did in Sonic 2.
Awesome. And also with the recent announcement, there's actually some lock-on technology. So you've brought back that from the 90s.
Yes.
And you'll actually be able to play as Metal Sonic in, is it Episode 1 and 2, or?
So the way it works is when we started developing the end of Ep 1 and the start of Ep 2, one of the things I wanted to bring back was lock-on technology, and we had a conversation with the team, and we all thought this would be a great idea, and just bring it back because it's so much fun to do, right? Why not? I mean, we're continuing the Genesis numerical Sonics.
Yep.
So the way it works is, as long as you have Sonic 1 on a singular device, be it iOS, Windows Mobile 7, iPad, your Xbox, as long as it's on the same machine and you buy Episode 2, it automatically unlocks day one. And you play as Metal Sonic, and what it does is it tells the story of how he was revived from the very end of Sonic CD. So you'll notice that the story starts out at the end of Stardust Speedway as Metal Sonic is resurrected, and you'll go through one act of each zone of Episode 1, but the act has been reworked. So it's not the same act. It actually has different elements. The difficulty has been ramped up a little bit more. It's laid out differently. And so what it is you'll find out it's kind of a story happening in parallel with Ep 1.
So it's kind of like how when you played as Knuckles, you went through the same levels, but it was variations of the levels, like you had different access.
Yeah, kind of like that. And what it does is it tells you why were you chasing Eggman through those particular levels? You'll see it in Episode Metal, and you'll see why those levels were important, and then it leads into the storyline of what Episode 2 is. So it bridges Episode 1, Sonic CD, and Episode 2 very well together.
Cool. I like that name too, Episode Metal.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And one final thing I have to ask you, what happened to the Sideburns?
So I was doing Growing the Mustache for Movember, the charity event.
Right.
And we're getting ready to announce Episode 2, and I wanted to announce it like right during the holidays, because that's when you're out of school, kids are home for the holidays, and it's a perfect time for me to announce. And so I shaved it as the tails, and then we painted it, and I ended up by breaking like 3 razors, like the 5-blade razors, getting it off, because the paint hardens the facial hair. And yeah, so that was pretty painful getting off. I tried using an electric razor, and that was pure pain. So
oh my goodness.
Three regular razors, but yeah, that had to come off. I could not go through Christmas, looking like that.
Yeah, well, that just means you have to raise the bar a little bit and do something a little crazier for the next game. So yeah. So again, guys, I'm Scott Morrison for Sega Addicts. This is Ken Balough. Thank you so much, Ken.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be here.
And thanks for tuning in.